Memorial Day weekend 2017. The family came together in celebration. The Kelley family reunion in the color purple.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
How are you? Can't complain. Can't complain. You guys look marvelous. Everything good? Everything good?
No drums this year.
How we doing? All right, all right. Hey.
I want to be on a speedboat like him.
You say you want to be on the speedboat, huh?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready to start our program. I am so very delighted to be here and to see all of you who've come to celebrate the 2017 Kelley Family Reunion. First, I would like to thank Cousin Petey, for entrusting me with this responsibility of serving as your MC for the evening. This is certainly a beautiful venue that he has chosen, and I think with the atmosphere, the food, the fun, and the fellowship, this will make a very memorable evening for all of us. This is the 150th birthday of Mrs. Eliza Kelley Brooks, the eldest of the original 10 children of Bill Kelley and Dinah Rush. Our reunion this year, Our reunion this year will recognize Eliza Kelley Brooks, who at the age of 17 was suddenly thrust into the role of homemaker and surrogate mother for her younger siblings when her mother died prematurely. It goes without saying that without Eliza, many of us would not have made it. We're also celebrating the enormous contributions made to us by Eliza's grandmother, Catherine Katie Johnson, who undoubtedly lent a great helping hand to her granddaughter following the death of her daughter, Dinah. With help from Eliza's mother, Katie, the Kelley family not only survived, but as you can see, we really thrived. You will hear more about Katie and Dinah during the reading of the proclamations for both of them later on in the program. We're recognizing several milestones at this reunion. This year marks the 5th Kelley reunion since 2009. 5 years ago, the Kelley Family Historic Marker was put in place. In addition, it's been 10 years since Keith and Ron Kelley first met at Scott Kelley Cemetery and began their long quest to locate and find additional Kelley members and gather historical accounts of where it all began. We're so blessed to have family members such as Keith, Ron Kelley, Dave and Kay Nesbitt, Neil Perry Washington, and others who steadfastly refuse to let our family history be blown away by the winds of neglect and uncaring attitudes. Please join me in showing our sincere appreciation to these dedicated family members. I learned an awful lot. Each time I get involved with the history, there's so much to learn. You never, I don't know if you'll ever find out everything, but it's just amazing to see how much has been uncovered. And it's just a blessing to know our heritage, the legacy, and to do what we can to preserve that and keep it going. So this has been a wonderful evening for me to be here with my family and having the House of Eliza represented because this is the lady who was being honored tonight, for sure. And because of her, we are. So I hope this is something that we never forget.
Awesome. So, if you could just move.
Jackie.
Hey.
Family, we're family.
My name is Joan Liddell, and I was born here in Houston, in Texas. Tonight means history to me. It means my family history. It tells me that I've always been proud of who I am, but I'm more proud of who I am now, since I do know the history. My mother and father always taught us to be proud of who we were. It means a lot to me. It meant a lot to me. And especially when Jeanette stood up and read the history of our family. Yeah.
No, it means a lot to me in that, so my name is Liza. It's something that I used to run from as a kid. Like, nobody understood an old name like Liza. Like, nobody had that name. And I was trying to get rid of it. And I remember looking at the meaning of it. And it's like God's oath, or consecrated to God. And it didn't mean anything until much later in life, when it was like understanding who that was connected to and why. So my name means even more so, and I can't be more proud. Liza Nicole Ford. I'm originally from Houston, Texas.
Yep.
Coming on down from Eliza.
Uh-huh.
Descendant of Eliza, Lawrence, or Lee, Kelley, Benita, Ford, and then there's me.
introduce Jeanette Vinson from the House of Eliza. Jeanette is going to give us a presentation about what learning about her family history has meant to her and her sisters. Jeanette, would you come forward, please? Give her a hand. Thank you.
Thank you. I am Jeanette Vinson, fourth daughter of Early Kelley, the firstborn of Lawrence Kelley and Perry Scott. And Lawrence, the firstborn child to Eliza Kelley. I am the representative tonight for Lawrence Kelley descendants, and I will present information gleaned from interviews, research, and documentation prepared by Keith and Ron Kelley. And we share from our perspective, we were asked to share from our perspective what Katie, Dinah, Eliza, and I added Lawrence Kelley, means to the descendants of Lawrence Kelley. And I added him because I consider us the missing link of the Kelley family. Fast forward to 2011 or 12, that was the dedication of the Kelley marker made the newspaper. And I just happened to call my brother-in-law that day to speak with my sister Benita, but she was unavailable. And he asked me, "What part of Texas was your mother from?" He told me about the article that was in the paper, and he said, "I think you need to pull that up on the internet and see what it's all about." And I did. And I called my cousin Cheryl Dotson Jones and Jackie Dotson Cheney. Jackie contacted Keith Kelley and Walden. We hit pay dirt. We found our family. We have been provided unknown and little known historical data regarding our family, relatives of some of which we may have known and inadvertently didn't know that they were our relatives. Historical documents, census, birth certificates, and death certificates, and face-to-face meetings held with Kelley elders has provided insight to our ancestors of William Kelley, Katie, Dinah, Eliza, and our great-grandmother, and now her son Lawrence, our grandfather. We are the Kelleys' missing link. And I use missing link because through the years, we had little to no personal knowledge of most of our ancestors mentioned in Keith and Ron's research documentation. We found the documents interesting, inspiring, and some instances unable to digest. Our revelation of our great-grandmother, first daughter, third generation from Katie, born to Dinah and William Kelley. William was the overseer of a plantation of which he managed. We had been told he loved Dinah but could not marry her. She was a mulatto, or mixed heritage. Together they had 10 children. Dinah died early, and her oldest daughter, Eliza, took care of her 9 younger sisters and brothers. Eliza loved a man named Aaron, as I mentioned earlier, got pregnant and wanted to marry her. Due to Aaron's family objections, he did not marry Eliza, and he departed from her life with the assistance of old man Kelley. She later gave birth to a son, and her father named Lawrence Jerome. He raised him as his own. Eliza mended her broken heart and continued to care for her younger siblings. She later married a man by the name of Kit Brooks. Hopefully this weekend we will officially meet Eliza's other descendants. It has been said that Eliza was the only person on earth that could reason with old man Kelley when he was spun up in a tirade. Prior to her mother's death, there is no historic evidence that her father pursued another romantic interest. It has been said that Eliza was the old man's stabilizing force, and their bond was one that may never be duplicated in the Kelley family. Lawrence married Clara May Scott, a mulatto, and together they had 7 children, as you see on the flowchart of the family tree that I presented. During the preparation of my presentation, I was informed that Lawrence fathered 10 children. One of the other 3 children was our Aunt Leali, and the other 2 we have no documented history to share. In old man Kelley's later years, my grandmother Clara took care of our great-grandfather, William, until his death. Prior to our great-grandfather's death, the census shows that he lived in the same house with Clara and her children. Clara was very resourceful. She and her children farmed the land, owned and operated the Kelley Cafe, maintained a church, and taught school. As an adult, most of Lawrence Kelley's descendants made their homes in Houston, and that clan stayed in close communication with each other and visited grandmother Clara often. In reading the Kelley's book, published by Keith and Ron, we now know some of the secrets of our family was forced to abandon their original homeland and relocate to other parts of the United States, leaving their given property in Oakhurst. During our childhood, we didn't like going to Maynard for visits at our grandmother's house, and I'm speaking of Forrest children because we experienced it more. Our father would drive his car, and almost every trip we would be stopped by the white policemen. They would always give flimsy excuses for stopping us. They then asked our brother to get out of his car. The next question would be, why are you with that white woman? It was embarrassing and humiliating for our father and us because we didn't understand what was going on. We were aware that our mother was of a mixed heritage, however. It was never talked about. It was almost as if she was afraid. My mother was very secretive. We didn't find out she had a half-sister named Eula until we were adults and met her at a family funeral. We couldn't ignore the fact that she resembled our mother. She was either her twin or her sister or her twin. Most of you may have known Eula was my mother's cousin and her half-sister. The 10 Kelley children born to Dinah, the insight into the history of the original Kelley children, our great aunts and uncles born to William Kelley and Dinah, must have been better prepared to face the world than Lawrence. These relatives were not visitors in our home. And I remember some of their names as they were occasionally mentioned when Mother was chatting with her sister and brothers. The fourth Kelley descendant, Dan Curtis Kelley, celebrated his 80th birthday, and a lot of the descendants attended that birthday party in San Francisco. At that time, we asked him a lot of questions about why he spelled his name with EY rather than Y like the ones in Texas spell their name. And he told us he joined the Army, he gave them his name, Dan Curtis Kelley, and the person responded, and he said, is it Kelley? And he said yes. And so his name was spelled EY, and the rest of the Kelleys in Houston and parts of Texas are spelled Y. Uncle Curtis referred to his grandfather as Old Man Kelley and declared he was a mean man and he would beat them. Uncle Curtis also said that his uncle Lawson gave him a dog who protected him. When Old Man Kelley tried to discipline him with a strap or a tree branch, the dog would show his teeth and go into an attack mode and would not let anyone hurt him. In closing, we are happy and appreciate all the hardship that Katie, Dinah, and Eliza endured to give us life. We are thankful to be here tonight to speak about our ancestors. Without them, there would be no Lawrence Kelley or his descendants. Katie, our great-great-great-grandmother, gave us Dinah. Our great-great-grandmother gave us Eliza, and Eliza gave us our grandfather. We are also thankful to be in a place where Kelley relatives are resourceful, abundant, alive. Thankful to have knowledge shared of our unknown ancestral history surrounding our great-grandmother Eliza. If the Kelley article had not appeared in the newspaper, we would not be here and not be aware of you today, our missing link. You're missing link as well. We accept where we are today. Values taught and instilled in us has far exceeded their expectation. We are professionals, auditors, bankers, doctors, educators, software engineers, environmental and electrical engineers, and small businesses. We are still growing. Lawrence Kelley's children, our parents, stay connected to each other and their children. Additionally, They took many secrets with them. Now that we know their story, may God bless them and may they rest in peace. We, the descendants, would like to extend a special thanks and recognition to Ron and Keith Kelley for their diligent research they performed and the documentation prepared and shared with the family. They brought us together in love, forgiveness, and understanding. And I thank you to Benita, Francine, Liza for their assistance in this preparation. In closing, the missing link of love has left a void. Supply the link, and earth with heaven will join in one continued chain of endless light. Today, we are a family with common ancestors linked together by love of one another. Thank you very much.
About being here, and I think I said that in my presentation, that I'm joyful that Ron and Keith Kelley has done such a marvelous job on the research that they provided to us, and I really wish that there's some way that I could go back in points in time. I'm an auditor by trade, by profession, and I am one of the better auditors that I know, and to have to review the controls or lack of controls in my family, that's the part that really disturbed me a lot, because I've always been in control of everything that I've done as far as internal controls and whether or not they're working or not working. But I took baby steps going back into points in time and feeling the pain that my parents and her sister and her brothers went through, to know that they were raised as whites and then found out that they weren't. It was very disconcerting, but I am happy that now I know the truth and I can move forward with the rest of the family, and that's one thing that I am happy that I was able to share with the group tonight.
Yes. Amen. Fabulous. Okay, so can you just move to the beat?
You're talking to the one sister that can't.
You can clap your hands. Clap your hands.
You didn't know this, though, did you? I have no rhythm.